Okay, you guys, happy Monday. I don't know about you guys, but mindset was amazing as usual. And I'm so excited that we are now broadcasting it live. I was even able to send it in a private message to some of the people that I've been talking to that are not thrivers yet. But I know they've been kind of struggling mentally, like with the pandemic and just all of that. So I was able to send it to them and just hopefully they'll listen to it and maybe just even see we do things differently. So I am so excited for that. So I'm glad that we're stepping into that. But tonight I wanted to have another guest speaker. That's what we're kind of doing is 1 week I'm kind of, just going off of like things that have really hit me. And then the following week, I want to hear from more people on our team and how they can inspire us because I'm a part of the team too. And I like to be inspired. Okay. Like, so Jordan is going to speak tonight and I'm so excited to hear what she's got for us. A few weeks ago, Toby spoke and we got to hear him. And so next week, you guys get me again, okay? Don't still get on, okay? You get me next week, and then the following week we'll have someone else because I absolutely love being able to collab with another promoter because we can all benefit from each other.
Unless there's more squishy ones.
They're not that squishy, but like next week.
You guys are muted.
Brianna. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna hand it over to Jordan to see what she has for us tonight. You guys, I have no clue either. Okay, we just decided you want to be on here, cool, let's do it. So I'm super excited. Jordan, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Sorry if you can hear Bluey in the background. My son and I decided to take an impromptu trip to the beach while my husband had to go out to the field. I was like, you have fun out there, we're going to the beach. And he did not go down on time for his bedtime, obviously. So he's entertained by Bluey right now. But I was talking to Haley and we're setting up interview stuff and I was like, I really want to be on Inspiration because I've absolutely loved what she's been doing with these. And back towards, I think the beginning of March, or when we started talking about like the self-love, like ways that we show ourselves self-love, I was starting really to work in the 21 laws, I believe it is. I'm reading like 5 books at a time to keep up with Courtney. So if I say the wrong book it came from, like, don't blame me. She needs to slow down on the book so I don't have to read so many at one time. Oh, are you gonna come join? Are you gonna say hi? Can you say hi? But as I was reading it, I came across this one sentence and I was like, okay, well, we'll try this. So all of March, I've been doing a self-development plan. So instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to do self-development each day, I actually went through, you do not need that. We're at an Airbnb and he can get into some of the drawers and he's very excited about that. But I read this thing about doing a self-development plan. So instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to self-develop today, what does that even really equate to? And with how Courtney reads and keeping up with her, you need a plan. And so with the 21 Laws workbook, I've really enjoyed going through it. So I've written down sort of a time frame that I wanted to complete it, or it was just going to take me forever if I was like, I'm just going to do it when I feel like it, because who really feels like sitting down and doing homework sometimes? But it's really fun homework once you sit down and start. And so writing out a plan of when I'm going to do like my self-love stuff. So I really like yoga and meditation. And so for me, I wrote down that during the week, each morning, that's what I do first thing. And that I don't pick my phone up for that first hour. And so that first hour, I do yoga, I do my meditation, I start my steps. And during my steps is when I have broken down into sort of time blocked sections of when I'm doing my self-development. So I start off with my personal self-development. And if you haven't gotten like the 5-minute productivity little book thing, that thing is awesome. Dakota had talked about it, I believe, on goal setting. And it's really been a game changer for my days. because it makes you sit down for that first 5-10 minutes, depending on how long it takes you. And you just sort of reevaluate yourself every single morning, which, yes, Laura has it. But I love being able to sit down and sort of reflecting on how I'm feeling that morning, what I really want to accomplish for that day to make it a great day. So you're sort of already setting that intention of, if I get this done, it's been a great day. And I write it down on my whiteboard, because if I only write it in the book and don't look at the book the rest of the day, it doesn't get done. But writing it on a sticky note, I have a whiteboard downstairs because my mother had an excess amounts of whiteboards, so I had to bring me some. And so I start with that, but then I also got another sort of journaling book called Soul Therapy that has prompts for every single day. And so I sort of do those two as my personal self-development every single morning. And that takes about 15 minutes. So nothing super extensive. And it sort of just sets me up in that right mind frame for the rest of my day, though, and really gives me time just to reflect on myself, because for me, I didn't see doing the self-reflection, the sort of working on myself as an IPA, something that's making me money in the end. I was doing the RCMs, I was doing all those, but it wasn't really getting me anywhere. And it wasn't getting me anywhere until I started doing this and then feeling better sort of internally, mentally about myself. And so I start with myself because I'm sort of that building block. You're the building block. It starts with you. If you're not feeling good, you're not going to really absorb anything else throughout your day. And you're just going to have that sort of negative energy around it. And so as I've started doing this and not having that negative energy, as I start doing more of my like leadership development and all of sort of that form of development, and then being able to put it into practice. And so then I go to my 21 Laws book and I work just through each chapter, and I really work through each question. So it takes me probably 2 mornings to get through a chapter, just because I want to work through it slowly. But then another part of sort of the self-development plan, as you're putting it together for yourself, looking at the books and what chapters you want to read from those books, and sort of giving yourself a time frame and giving yourself a time to be able to complete that. And so I sort of choose 1 book per day that I want to focus on, out of the 5 that I have going right now. Gotta love Kindle. My husband has no idea how many books I've bought in the past month. But of writing down the chapters I want to complete and being able to give myself time to do that, and not feeling almost guilty about not doing RCMs during that time, and giving myself that time in the morning, that before I even touch my phone, this is all I'm doing and all I'm focusing on is making sure I'm in the right place then to go and pour it into others. Because if we're not filling our own cup, we're not pouring into ourselves. We have nothing to pour into our RCMs. We have nothing to pour into those people we're reaching out to. And so I take that time to have a plan and to make sure that I'm setting myself up for my day successfully. And I do that by just making that plan in the beginning of the month. And so I did that all last month, and it's made such a huge difference in how I view doing the RCMs, how I view reaching out to people. And one of the last parts of the self-development plan is being able to teach it. So when you're going through these books, go through them like you're about to teach it to somebody, because we learn things a lot differently when we're going to pour it into somebody else, because you don't want to give them the wrong information. I know I'm a very green person. You see me on the nutrition Zoom. I love my numbers like one of those weirdos. And so it's one of those that if I look at it, I'm going to be teaching it. That's why I reached out to Haley. I wanted to be able to get on here and to share with you all, and to put that knowledge that I've been sort of absorbing and giving it back and sort of sharing what we've done. And so another way that my personal little team is going to be working on this and being able to learn and teach each other is that we're doing our own little book club of the 21 Laws. So it's just sort of my little team. So that way everybody has a chance to share, to talk, and to really get into it, because I love our big team Zooms, but how many people usually talk on them? maybe 2 to 3 at most. And that's because if everybody's talking, it's just chaos. Zoom does not give it a, can't have everybody talking at once. And so one way that I really want to get my team being able to reading these and reading it in a form of, we're going to be talking about it, we're going to be teaching about it, because you pay attention a little bit differently. And so that's sort of what I've been doing all of March, and I've continued it into April. I had to think about what month it was. I didn't know what month it was for a second there. But into April, and it's really helped me to be working through this book. I'm over halfway through 21 Laws now, and I have 2 more workbooks waiting for me because I really enjoy my workbooks now. And it's just one of those ways that I feel like developing just myself, it gives me that structure I personally need, if I can talk anymore. But that's sort of my little tidbit on making just that personal self-development plan, and just having it set out. Then you're not trying to figure out what I want to do that day for self-development. It's already sort of figured out for you, which I know personally saves me time, because I'll like flip between different things. And even for doing our impromptu trip, I brought all my self-development stuff. I'm like, that was half of our suitcase. But I don't know if Haley has anything else to add on to that, if anything inspired her.
Yes, I absolutely love the fact that we are, we're told all the time, we're taught, put a time on something, right? And so I was the exact same way, where I didn't see where self-development was an IPA. That's not a, you're not connecting with people doing self-development. But if you think about it, you are the most important person you need to be connecting with. And I mean that in the most sentimental way ever. Coming from the yellowest person on this, one of the yellowest people on this team, you have to connect with you to know who you are, to know who your people are. Like, you have to. So I think it's super important. I really enjoyed that. I personally, right now, I'm not putting a time limit on self-development. I have power hours written throughout the day, but I'm not making one of those specifically for me sitting down and doing, something in a workbook, reading a book, whatever. And that is something that I know that I need to pivot to be, better in my business, better in my marriage, my friendships, everything else. So you definitely have inspired me to like go and time block it. We're big on time blocking on this team. And it hadn't even crossed my mind to time block self-development. I mean, we have I don't say it like I don't do it, but once again, I'm also a squirrel and can get sidetracked really easily. Oh, it's self-development hour, but the laundry just finished. Like, I need to go fold it. And so being able to do it, I think it's very, very important. Like Courtney talks about all the time, and so does Toby. I've heard them say it numerous times, eat the frog, where the things that you do in the first 30 to 45 minutes to an hour of being awake are usually the hardest things. Catch me in the gym first thing in the morning because I haven't went today and I'm like, should I go? Do the things that are the hard stuff first. And I think it's very honorable that you don't even look at your phone for the first hour, because I can speak for myself. I'm not sure who else, but like, that's the first thing I do is grab my phone and go through 10 or 15 messages. And before I know it, it's 45 minutes later. I haven't even taken my capsules, and it's like, I think that I really need to maybe make that time, like on the way from home to the gym, maybe that 30 minutes can be, okay, cut on your podcast and just let it go. You know what I mean? So I think that should be one of our big tasks in the going days, is set aside, if you don't feel like your self-development is where it should be, if you feel like something's missing, maybe it's not something missing in your business, maybe it's something missing actually in you that you need to develop in, because we know that people can see confidence. We know that people can see when we are being authentic, And I think a huge thing about being inspired to continue with this journey and continue growing and continue with development is always growing, always being open to learning new things, because you may be like, I am doing the do and I'm doing all the things and I'm just not seeing the harvest. Well, what if that one thing could be taught to you by someone else, but you weren't open to learning? You thought that your way was the only way. And I think in this business, it's very, very important to be open to other people's ways of doing things, because that could be your missing piece. So thank you so much, you guys, for getting on here. If you do start like time blocking that, or you're getting the books and you're doing it, shout yourselves out in the chats. Like, if y'all are doing things that are working for you, or you are finding books, or you're finding certain podcasts, share it. You know, it doesn't have to be just the leaders that are sharing stuff and sending stuff in the chats. Like, you guys are part of the team, and the team works the best when we're working toward one goal as a collaborative. So if we all have something to input, we're just better and better and better, you know? There is no, what's the word, rank on who's a leader. There's no rank on that. We don't go by that here. So if this is your first day of Zooms, or your first Zoom ever, whatever, just know that we are all a team. We love each other. These are done because this team is not all about, oh, you know, go make a sale. We want to be the best us. We want to be the best us for our business, for our families, for ourselves, because we all deserve it. And I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to start crying, and we don't need another inspiration Zoom with Haley crying on it.
Well, one thing with the not picking my phone up in the morning, somebody on our team shared this video from Jim, I think Quick, I believe is how you spell his name. But he had a really bad brain like injury trauma as a kid, was told he would never equate to anything, and his memory is absolutely amazing now. And he teaches how to learn. And one of his big things is not picking your phone up, the technology, that first hour. So if you want to like dive in and get sucked into YouTube of a different training thing, like his are really good, and I have to make sure I limit myself to one when I get on YouTube, or I would sit there all night long. But thank you so much for having me tonight.
I'm so glad you got on. I hope that everyone took away some valuable content, and I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. Go time block some self-care. If you haven't done your self-care today, whether it be reading a book, listen to a podcast, whatever, go do it before you go to bed. And I wish you guys an amazing Monday, and we will see you next Monday. Bye, guys.